Welcome to Orchard Dairy. We've been in operation since 1917. In about 2005-ish, I've seen some robot dairies, and labor was starting to get harder and harder to find. So we started to kind of look around at robots. By 2010, we were getting a little more serious about it. So we started looking at, different farms and farm shows and whatnot. And then it was about 2014, 2013, we went to Europe and seen farms over there, and then we started getting real serious, with design and out west, and we found a bunch of designs, so we started putting it all together on paper. In 2017, we built this barn and added 4 robots with the idea we were going to come right in behind it with 4 more right away. It took us 3 years to realize that dream, but we got the other 4 going this spring. Now all 8 are running, and so here we are milking about 1,050 cows. Half of them in the robot barn, half of them in the parlor. Our intentions are to build some additions on to that barn and put robots in that barn, complete the whole project and have robots everywhere. When that'll happen, it's difficult to find out or know, but in that whole transition, we got rid of doing our crops, so we hire somebody to do our crops. We send our heifers out as well, so we're really nailing down the labor. We're running the whole farm, 1,150 cows with just 8 people, not including my brother and I. So there's 10 of us on the farm every day. I think, with labor the way it is, and everything else getting tight with regulations and insurance, everything, you name it. Labor is going to be the biggest one, but we're just going to drive the cost of production down, and eventually these robots are going to be the way to do that for us.
All right, what reports do you look at daily and why?
So the main one obviously is breeding report, the health report, and then production reports we'll look at mainly for new cows, just to see what they did, how many times they're going in. It kind of makes a difference for us because we try and push them in, the new cows in more than twice a day. We'll push them in 3-4 times a day just to kind of get them used to the fact that they can go in whenever they want. I think that helps us get them going, that's why we're 3.8 turns a day, so I really think that's why. The herd basically adapted better than people have adapted, I think. So, the old moniker, I guess, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. I think we've really got that down to 3 days, 3 weeks. The 3 months, I didn't really feel with the A5s. I thought after 3 weeks we were right at, the grease was on the wheels and we were going. So I would say basically start up right through, everything is where it needs to be. And now that the people, and I say people, I guess I'm included, managing how to manage when they're scraping alleys and just little things, but all add up to staying out of the barn as much as possible. Kind of coordinating all that stuff and when they do stuff. So basically 3 people are in that barn. Sometimes 4 when I got to do it on a weekend. But, so that's pretty much it, which kind of gets us down to that 6-hour-a-day number, which is big. For as far as paying for them robots and making that barn pay for itself. Before robots, we were 2,400,000 pounds a year per employee, and now with the robots, I was able to get rid of labor, we're 3,200,000. Right now, milk production's averaging 96 pounds on all 8 robots, the 4 groups. 2 of the groups are over 100. One of the heifer groups is at 95, and then the other group's got about 35 jerseys in it. They're in the 80s, high 80s. I like to tell my herdsmen they bring the average down, so I don't, they're mostly hers, so. But, so overall they're like 96 pounds. We were up to 98. About 3 weeks after starting up the A5s, but we're back down to that 96 area. Our goal is to hit 100 average on all 4 groups. I think it's reality pretty soon. The reason I chose Lely, number one, yeah, I said this in the beginning when we started, was they've been out the longest. I was up in Canada 25 years ago, 20 some years ago, and I seen them running then, and I was blown away. I'd never seen anything like it, and so it was the first one I seen. And then when I started visiting, basically the software kind of blew me away, and what your software did compared to the competitors. And then the robot itself. You know, you guys have been around a long time, this is what you do. And I think as far as length of use, you know, you still got a lot of old ones out there that are still running. And that's huge. You know, it isn't like 7 years and you got to replace them. You know, they'll work for 7, 8, 10 more years before I got to replace them again. So that's the big thing. You talk to people that have had them for 20 years and they're still on the one that they started with. You know, you don't find that, especially in a robot. You know, you guys do your updates and whatever you're doing to keep them going. It's just, that made a difference for me. Basically, it started off with all but one is close. The rest of them aren't even in the running. So it just came down to quality, and this is all they do. And we thought that their research and their development, and they spent time with us as an individual, going around different countries in the U.S., showing us what, you know, was good about them. And for me, it was software was above, far and above most of the other competitors. Probably my favorite feature, especially the A5s, is the cleaning. The A5s, they made it all one step. You just push one button and it goes into the cleaning mode, where you can clean it with the water, the hose and everything. And it takes a lot less time. The A5s are quieter, much quieter than the A4s. Not that the A4s are loud or anything, but, and then the speed. We like the fact that, you know, you guys have had you're on the 5th generation of robots. Right. And they've gotten better and better and better. This time you made some changes on the A5s as far as the software, and it's really helped some of the little hiccups, maybe, if you want to call it that, with the A4. It shows you each quarter and let down, and you can do everything and anything you want to do with this cow on an individual basis right here on this screen, which is really nice. Such as reconnect, prolong, interrupt, routing, whatever you want to do. With cow info, you know, you could go to that. It tells you everything you want to know. Where the A4, you couldn't do that. So that's a nice feature. You could, you just can't do it that easy. Right. So it was really, the software part in the A5 is a lot better. As far as if you're out in the barn or the herdsman's out in the barn, which generally is the case. You're not having milkers out here. Right. Unlike, you know, with the Appy in the parlor, the guys don't really know other than push the button to start milking. Right. But here it's a different story. Right. You know, Kim or I are out here, so it's nice to have the information. We're probably, I figured it out the other day, 75 cents more right now per cow in the robot. Yeah. And before the feed costs went up, we were pretty close in feed cost between the two barns, but it's gone up. But you're taking into account, you know, you're not in here the hours, 6 hours a day for 420 cows, phenomenal. So this barn alone, so with the 8 robots, there's about 2 hours a day to 2.5 hours a day for fetching, morning and afternoon. Another hour for scraping. And then between Kim and I doing breeding and herd health stuff, another hour. So you got 6 hours a day for the 420 cows. So originally we had just the 2 groups, and we had 1 heifer group and 1 cow group. And unfortunately, we really needed 2 heifer groups. So the heifer groups, we really couldn't do it like we wanted to manage it. Now with the 4 groups, we have 2 heifer groups and 2 cow groups. It's easier for us to feed and manage. I have my brothers. I probably have all heifer groups, but the heifers do much better on. So the layout is kind of unique to New York, unique to the US, I think. There wasn't too many that I've seen in my travels, and I traveled out west, Midwest. We went to Europe, Germany, Netherlands, and this is where I seen this design, was in the Netherlands, in a new project there. Also in Germany. And it added cost to the barn because of the extra feed alley, so some people are like it's a waste of space, but in my mind, it gives you a 4-row barn with a 6-row layout, because there's a headlock for almost every cow. And especially with robots, you don't really need that, because they're not all up eating at the same time, because they don't need to anymore, because they're not all going to the parlor and coming out at the same time. So the 2 outside feed alleys was the main part, and then the L design for the robots. I've seen a lot of different stacks, like 3 or 4 stacks in a row. The middle running all parallel, and this design to me seemed like the best cow flow. And I haven't seen one yet. I've seen them with a double stack and then another one running the other way, and the double stack, there's just too much confusion with cow flow. So I think if you want to add cows on, you just do this design and you just keep building this longer, in my mind. You know, like I said, I went to a lot of farms, probably 30, maybe 40, between my brother and I. And my daughter and I went to Europe, and that's kind of where I saw a lot of this stuff, like the gates here behind me. It's really nice for the fetch area. Makes fetching for one person a lot easier. You put 3 or 4 in there and close the gate, set it for automatically go up when them cows are through. So you don't have to sit here and babysit this one group of 4 cows. Just little things like that. And then the biggest thing that I heard in every farm was the foot bath. And they couldn't design the foot bath to put it in the right spot. So we spent a lot of time looking at those at different farms, and I think we've come up with kind of the best place to put it. Whether it's the right design for the foot bath is up for debate, but I think that's really a nice place to put it, because the cows have to go through the robot to get through the foot bath. To eat, they got to go through the foot bath in order to do that.